Hello, I'm Corey Benoit with Famous Media, and today we're going to talk about urban landscape photography, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how you can get the best possible images from your equipment. Urban landscape photography usually is associated with imagery from within contemporary mediums such as landscapes of buildings, city structures, subways, what you see behind me, anywhere city life exists or lives. It expresses the experiences from within that area. However, it usually focuses on the patterns and processes from within the area rather than the people. Urban landscape photography doesn't have to be bound by just finished buildings and structures. The most important thing is creativity and the feeling you get while you're on the streets. Walk around, scout out your areas. If you feel comfortable or you feel like you've got that feeling, you'll just know it when you see it. That's the most important part about photography, is the feeling you get and the passion you have for it. Next is you have to have a wide-angle lens. I don't recommend a lens that's got a fast aperture because you're going to be shooting in the f8 to f16 range, sometimes even f22 due to the depth of field, and you're going to want your photos to be sharp. You don't have to have the most expensive camera to get this job done. However, I do recommend 16 megapixels or higher. I shoot on a D800E, which is 36 megapixels, which is fantastic for landscape or urban landscape photography. Planning is the big key. You'll spend 90% of your time on landscape photography planning, finding out how you're going to get there, what kind of shot you want, and then setting up your camera, and then it takes 30 seconds to take the picture. Planning and passion and drive is the overcoming of these challenges, and also some technical knowledge of RAW shooting versus JPEG. Never shoot landscape in JPEG. I learned that firsthand. JPEG images are done all processing in the camera. The dynamic range is fixed, they're very hard to edit, and they're compressed. RAW images give you plus or minus 5 EV on the scale, so you can really focus more on the dark areas and brighten them up a little bit and bring shadow detail back up and bring the highlights down. Or if you're shooting on a D800 like me, I can just, shoot for highlights so I don't blow them out and pull shadow detail back. Some cameras can pull shadow detail very well. Like most Nikons can pull shadow detail up to 5 stops. Some of the challenges I actually face in urban landscape photography is some of the challenges you may face. Dynamic range. It's one of the biggest keys in landscape photography, especially urban landscape photography. As you can see behind me, the buildings are very bright and the sky and the tips of the structures are usually quite a bit darker, and some spots of the streets may be darker, shadows or underpasses. That's dynamic range, and that's where RAW shooting comes in handy. But it really comes down to you and the feeling you get and being creative. Creativity is the essence to any photography, not just landscape photography.